Hey guys, Greg Tambone checking in from Bone Tactical. I am going to share with you guys what you can do to continue to stay prepared, what you can do to stay safe, how you can best handle this pandemic situation, and I'm going to share right now my thoughts on what I think the rest of this year and the future of the world and specifically the United States is going to hold. What's going to happen, in my opinion, none of us can predict the future, but I think that I have a pretty good grasp on how things work in my world, and especially with the role that I've played with the government of the United States. I think that I know how things will work when things begin to get progressively worse with this pandemic. Now, it's not the worst pandemic we've ever seen, but I am going to share with you guys, I'm going to continue to share with you guys things that you can do to survive, things that you can do to help yourself from a guy who's been there, done that kind of thing. Why am I doing this? Why am I trying to share? Why am I spending so much time and dedicating so much time to helping my fan base? Because that's what strong men do. Okay, guys, I'm not just trying to help those of you out there who are my followers, who I consider to be friends, who are in my social network. Really, I want to say right now, thank you guys for the support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting strong men. Thank you for supporting a strong America. Thank you for supporting strength. But I also want to say that this is what strength looks like. We should all be helping each other out, okay? If you're strong, if you have the ability to help others, please, okay? Now let's get right into what I think the future will look like. In order to discuss what the future will look like, we need to kind of a little bit discuss what we're dealing with right now. What we're dealing with right now is a COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic, okay? We are dealing with a virus that is translated from person to person, okay? It's a virus that is microscopic. It can't be seen, it can't be touched. We do not know at this time. We don't know, and it's crazy to me that we don't know, but we still don't know how long this virus can remain alive, for example, on a package. Okay, if you receive Amazon deliveries, 24-hour Amazon delivery, next day delivery, something like that. By the way, my products are sold on Amazon. We do expedited shipping. I have one person right now shipping stuff. Only one person enters the facility where stuff is being shipped. We have cleanliness in place, hand washing, all of that stuff, okay guys? So I'm trying to limit the exposure as much as I can myself and with my employees, okay? At our production facility, we went from 7 guys to 5 guys, and we have extreme measures going into place of wash down before we enter. We're using masks, we're doing everything we can use while we're having close contact with each other, okay? I don't really think personally that the masks have a huge effect, because it's not like some kind of a hermetic seal. It's, you know, you still got to eat, you still got to conduct business, and stuff can get in and around the masks. I mean, it's not a perfect option, but it's better than nothing. I also let my employees use masks for their mental, I provide them masks, let them use them. I provide them masks for their mental health, okay? So a lot of this, I think, is placebo effect. We're showing with this virus as well that it's very difficult to avoid, but also a huge percentage of people that contract the virus are getting mild to medium symptoms, okay? Symptoms are not chronic for a lot of people. That means that a lot of people will be able to nurse themselves back to health at home. So have your medical supplies ready. If you have somebody in your family that's a nurse or a doctor, have them start in this quarantine time, have them start sharing information with those of you who are unfamiliar with medical practices, okay? So start talking amongst yourselves, start planning, daily meetings with those of you who are living in the house. Limit outside contact as much as possible, okay? Now, while it seems like up to even possibly and perhaps further than half of the country will in the future contract this virus, the good news is that not everybody's going to die from it, okay? Maybe we're looking at about 20% of people that might die from this virus. It's very early right now. We don't know what's going to happen. But what I'm going to share with you is things that you can do right now to prepare for what the future may look like. I'm going to try and share with you guys a picture, paint you a picture of what the future is going to look like. So in order to understand that, like I said, we got to discuss what's going on right now. What's going on right now is this virus is slowly spreading. Italy, people are dying in fairly high numbers. Okay, it's not the bubonic plague. Okay, not yet. It could mutate, guys. It could expand. We don't have a cure for this. So what you need to understand is that washing your hands right now and in the future is going to be key. Wearing a mask is marginally effective at best. Going out in public and having contact with multiple people or lots of people is a very bad idea, okay? It's very possible that everybody might get this disease. Remember that. So start setting up now. Start preparing yourself now for contracting this disease. Start preparing yourself now for being able to treat flu-like symptoms, okay? Because there's no cure for the disease, so prepare yourself as much as possible for treating flu-like symptoms. It's unlikely that 99% of the people watching this video will really actually be able to 100% quarantine themselves, okay? It's less than that. It's less than 1 in 100. It's more like 1 in a million, the people in the world, okay, that will actually be able to physically be able to quarantine themselves. It's very difficult to do. Okay, if you guys don't have a bug out shelter already built for antimicrobials and all this air scrubbers and all that kind of stuff, guys, you're not going to be able to do it. I'm sorry. But, okay, my particular belief is that what's going to happen is going to happen. I believe, I'm a Christian. I've shared that on a lot of my videos. So I pray first, okay, and I do what I do based off of a reaction. No. It's a response, guys, okay? It's not a animalistic reaction. I have a trained response to everything that I do, okay? It's important that we remember, that we educate ourselves, and that we remember that we're human beings. We don't have to have an animalistic response. We don't have to go buy a bunch of toilet paper because everybody else is doing it. Okay, guys? What's important is that we have a trained response. We respond to these situations as they come, and we don't react. Okay? So, you guys have seen this bracelet I've worn in every single video that I've ever made, more or less, for the last 2 years at least. This bracelet says pray first. Okay? So I pray first. But also, God helps those who help themselves. It's a balance, guys. We have to live in this world until we move on to the next. Okay, don't panic. It's not the end of the world. It might be the end of this world, but it's not the end of an eternal life. Okay, so that's one way that I'm looking at it. Let me continue on to just physical facts of how we can deal with things in this world. I just wanted to share with you guys that I also believe that this is not the end. Even if we die, it's still not the end. I believe that our soul goes to a different location after this life. So that's something to consider. Okay, guys? You got to think about staying healthy, but not just physically healthy, staying mentally healthy. Reading your Bible is one way to stay prepared and physically healthy and not panic. Mentally healthy and not panic. Okay? If you don't believe in the Bible and you don't want to have anything to do with that, read a magazine, read a book, okay? Find ways to have fun, okay? Let me continue on by saying that this is what the future may look like. Martial law in the United States. Border closures, not just between states, not just between countries, but between cities. Mandatory quarantines, mandatory curfews, police stop and frisk, police questioning. Weapons will likely become illegal under martial law. Those of you guys who say, the government can't take our guns, they won't take our guns, this, that, and the other. There's lots of troop movements right now within the United States. They're moving tanks inland, okay? Why would they need to move tanks and armored personnel carriers inland to the United States, moving them, not protecting our borders, but protecting against you or preparing for a war with you? That's what martial law is. We saw it after Katrina, guys. We know that it is likely to happen. Okay, I'm not going to share with you guys, this channel, we won't share any kind of kook conspiracy theorist stuff. We're going to share facts and likely supplications. Okay, so it's very likely that martial law will occur because if half of the United States contracts a potentially deadly disease, that's just a martial law situation. Well, what happens under martial law? Weapons are taken. Okay, so guys, these are things to be aware of. I'm going to do a real quick plug for my products. This is what I do for a living. It's how I eat. Okay, I make the most effective edged weapons and self-defense tools in the world. I've been making my weapons with the knowledge that something like this might occur. So I make the weapons that you see behind me, as well as items like these. Okay, this right here, guys, do you know what this is? This is the bone opener. If our government puts us under martial law and tells us that we won't be able to travel freely or use weapons, something like that bone opener is going to be the most effective force multiplier that you can have. These items behind me here are going to be the most effective force multipliers that you can have, because you won't be able to walk around with your AR. You won't be able to walk around with your AK. And even if you have your Glock pistol, okay? Even if you have your Glock pistol in your holster, on your side, you're likely going to have to go through stop and frisks and pat downs. That's how they're going to control the populace. Okay, you're not going to run through a military checkpoint with tanks, armored personnel carriers, grenades, grenade launchers, okay, 50 caliber machine guns mounted on Hummers, or, you know, automatic grenade launcher mounted on a Hummer, Apache helicopters. Okay, guys, be realistic here. You're not going to be able to go around anymore in the near future brandishing weapons. So those of you guys who have your helmet and your plate carrier and your kit all camouflaged, ready to go, you guys aren't going to be able to leave the house. You can wear all that stuff, but fine, you're going to have to stay in your home, and you're going to have to hope that when they come door to door, what are you going to do then? Because that's what they did in Katrina. They're going to come around, patrols. It's going to be, what happened in Katrina was local police along with ex-military. They were having anybody that was a special operations guy, ex-military, they were deputizing them, sending them around with local police. And these were guys that were taking your guns, going door to door and saying, hey guys, for the good of the community, and then they were shooting looters and doing all kinds of crazy stuff after Katrina. So guys, be very aware, please be aware of what's going to happen. You are basically going to become the insurgents population in the future. The government is going to try and be fighting for control against citizens who are likely going to be hungry. Okay, this already supply chains have broken down. Me, as the CEO of Bone Tactical, I'm fighting with not being able to get my raw materials to make my knives and my edged weapons. I make all this stuff that you see behind me by hand, painstakingly, one by one. And so right now I'm regretting selling it for as cheap as I sell it for, because it takes so long and it's so difficult to make these things one by hand, that when they're gone, I don't know if I'm going to be able to replace this stuff, guys. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make any more. Even down to our shirts are made by hand. These shirts are made to be able to operate under the radar for a situation like what we're going to be seeing in the future when we're under martial law. Guys, the country that I'm in right now is already under martial law. I'm sitting here under martial law. I've dealt with it before. I've done it before. Okay, I can't legally leave the country that I'm in. I can cross these borders illegally, like you guys have heard me talk about before, like you guys have even seen videos of before on my channel. But I can't cross any border legally. The roads are all shut down. The only way that I can get out of here is either by, it would even be very difficult right now with a personal plane. I have friends who are trying to move in and out, fellow guys that I've worked with before, provided security with, that have their own planes, and they can't even move freely throughout the country, guys. They can't even move in and out of the country. I've got friends stuck in other countries who I'm working with right now about finding means to get them to where they need to get. Okay, it's the United States. You may not have seen it yet, but when this supply chain breaks down and continues to break down, people are going to be out of jobs. So people are already out of jobs. Jobs are failing. Businesses are failing. Money is going to get tight. Money's already tight for some people. People are going to be hungry. When people get hungry, they're going to go looking for food. Okay, this is all stuff we have to think about, guys. So the future of the United States is going to look like grocery stores are either shut down or don't have food on the shelves. Those people in cities that are living in very congested areas where there's lots of people, they're going to be just incredible crime rates, looting and pillaging everywhere. The people that are in the country that have access to, you know, cattle or chickens or eggs and from a chicken house or stuff like that are going to be in the best situation, where there's more land and more food and farms and ranches and less people, so people aren't going to starve as quickly. But in cities where people are on top of each other and without supply chain being able to be effective and without being able to get stuff into the grocery stores, it's just going to be rough, guys. So I already talked about a bug out video. I put a video up about what you would need, the bare essentials about bugging out. I put a video up about how you should prep your vehicle for bugging out. I'm gonna do a video talking about bugging in, but guys, bugging in is not a thing, okay? Being prepared in your home, sure, that's a thing, but there's no bugging in. Is stop saying you're bugging in. It's not a thing. So even if you're calling what you're calling bugging in, if you have a bunch of stuff in your house, you still need to have bags packed. Because if it gets to the point where you're at where you have to leave, you might have to leave. Or if you're just going to die with your stuff and let whoever comes by to take all your stuff that you prepped, take it, then that's a plan too. I mean, it's fine if that's what you want to do. But if you want to survive, you have to have a bug out plan. Nobody in the world that's ever been successful or been intelligent or known anything about tactics has not had a bug out plan, okay? You have to have an escape plan, okay? You have to have a plan for exfil. Okay, guys, it doesn't matter how awesome your security and your fort or your bunker or your whatever it is, okay? Whatever you want to call it, your fortress, a modern fortress. I don't know what you want to call it, guys, but let's just be realistic. If a horde of hungry people with guns, you know, comes by, and we saw this in Katrina. We saw gang members with AK-47s in the streets raiding, going around on raids, okay? It's not worth it, guys. It's not worth trying to deal with that unless you have just a crazy security system built up, multi-million-dollar facility, okay? Then I'm not talking to you about being able to bug out, but guys, watch those other videos. But right now we're talking about what the future is going to look like. The future is going to look like the fall of law and order, potentially. The future is going to look like, at best, when the supply chain breaks down, what are hungry people going to do? Best case scenario, they're going to respect other people's needs and just be starving, I guess. I don't know, but there's going to be hungry people. There's going to be people that, if you have food and somebody else doesn't, it could be a potentially dangerous situation in the future, okay? This is what the future is going to hold. So try and prepare yourself. Try and educate yourself. The most important thing that you can do right now is help others, build strong communities. If you have more than the next person has, build up as much as you can. Don't be a hoarder, okay? Try and help others. This next thing that I'm about to tell you to do, guys, is going to be very difficult to do, but don't build a taller fence. If you have the ability to build, if you have means, build a longer table. What do I mean by that? I mean, guys, this situation is affecting and afflicting all of us. We're going to have to deal with it. The best way to deal with it is to educate yourself, educate others, and prepare. Prepare hospital bays. If you have beds or extra rooms in your house, set them up to where you can care for sick people. Okay, the chances of many of us, including myself, getting this disease are high. We can pray that we'll be mild or moderate symptoms and that we'll recover. We can prepare ourselves for treating medical emergencies. And if we're in a very high population area, if we're in a city, okay, if we're in any kind of a city, we should probably try and get out of the city now while we can. Cities are going to be rough. That's what I'm predicting in the future. Guys, it is the end of March right now, okay? It is the end of March 2020, and these are my predictions. We will see what ends up happening, but I hope you guys heed my advice. I hope this video helps, and I'm going to close out with some tips and things that you can do right now. Don't load up on ballistic helmets, all kinds of big guns, okay, stuff like that. What you need to load up on is normal clothing, clandestine type stuff. If you need body armor, if you feel like you need body armor, very, very small, minimalist body armor. It's just going to get taken, guys, if you have all of this stuff all over the outside of you. A lot of the people who are telling you stuff and telling you how to survive and telling you what to do in a bug out situation here on YouTube, some of the top guys, some of them have some good tactics. There's some other channels out there where some of these guys are ex-special operations of one form or another. They've had combat experience. That's great, okay? But what they're telling you is their experience based off of their experience, okay? Their knowledge based off of their experience. They're telling you this because they were in the military. They had a huge support network. They could call in fire support. They could call in any quantity of quick reaction forces in every country in the world, okay? They had so much power when they were in the military that they didn't realize things are not going to be the same when they're not in the military and they don't have that quick reaction force that they can call, okay? We, as citizens trying to survive this, are going to be in the exact opposite role. We are going to be insurgents. So take it from somebody who has been on the exact other end of the spectrum. I've had those elite military guys hunting me. Okay, I've had those government people coming after me. I know what it's going to be like. I know what it takes to fly under the radar. That's why I make concealment clothing. That's why I make tools that are force multipliers but don't look like weapons. So guys, what we need to understand here is that the more that you look like a prepper in these coming days, the more that you look ready, you've got to follow that line between hard target. I've got a video on this. It's been a very popular video. I think it has almost 1 million views. Hard target versus gray man theory. Watch my gray man theory videos, guys. Please learn something. Educate yourself. You guys, do not make yourselves targets, please. If you get one thing from Bone Tactical, if you don't buy any of my gear, you guys can make stuff like this at home. If you have a sewing machine, you can make your own El Sicario shirt. Okay, it's not going to be the same quality, of course, but it'll work. And it's not going to matter if it looks awesome, if it's fancy, if it has pearl snaps, if it's amazing hand stitching from some of the top tailors in the world. None of that's going to matter in these end days, okay? You don't have to have the nicest gear. You can make your own. But take example of what I have here, okay? You guys might not be able to make your own bone breaker keychain, but at least now you know, before you grab your gun, that you may not be able to use that gun. You may not be able to carry that gun. When you bug out, you may have to leave all those guns and all that ammo at home, because when you leave the city, you're going to drive right up to a military checkpoint and they're going to take your guns from you right there. You're not going to get in a shootout with these guys with all kinds of millions of dollars of heavy equipment. These ex-military guys that are telling you how to bug out and how to survive a zombie apocalypse and all this and how to survive the pandemic, these guys are telling you from a perspective of a military person. Just remember, you guys are not in the military. We are not in the military. We are on the other side of the fence. We are now going to be insurgents, okay, guys, in our own country. So I feel like the future is going to hold martial law. I really want you guys to be smart, okay? Don't panic. I'm also going to talk a little bit about what you can do to make money. Start trying to focus on the internet as much as possible. Remember that social distancing is going to be here with us for about the next year. I think it'll be here for 6 months for sure, and probably the next year. I think social distancing, the world will be changed forever in the future. Forever, okay? It'll never be the same again. Italy is a culture of I was just in Italy. It's a culture of just great, beautiful culture. People are very friendly, touchy-feely, talk with their hands, no personal space, and they're dying because of that. Okay, so it's a beautiful thing, but we need to learn from them, guys, and pray for them. And my Italian friends out there, I'm so hurt for you guys. I hope you guys recover. I hope you guys find a way. I hope we find a cure for this disease. If we don't, take heart from Italy. They're under martial law right now. We'll probably be next. Those guys are wishing they had bone breakers. Those guys that are able to move around, they're wishing they had more medical supplies in their house. They're wishing that they had talked and educated themselves more within the family about what to do if somebody gets sick. Okay? Guys, we will make it through this as a society. But please be intelligent and please think of others in this time. Don't become a hoarder. Don't try and put the next guy down to help yourself, because that's going to be what a lot of people are doing. Here at Bone Tactical, we are men of honor, and we don't do that. We support the weak. We help the underprivileged. We help those of us in our community who cannot help themselves. So one last thing, look towards the internet to gain finances. I have a Bone Ambassador program that I have started, and I'm now going to be accepting anyone who's needing help. If you guys are hurting financially, send me an email, greg@bonetactical.com, and I will let you know about my Bone Ambassador program. Basically, I will start paying you guys. I'll send you a payment via PayPal for anything you can sell of my products. You don't even have to touch the products. You don't have to leave your house. It's my incentive to you guys to try and be able to make a little bit of extra money. So all you got to do is rep my products, send pictures of my stuff to your friends. You can use your social media, but that's going to be the way of the future, guys. So in my way of helping you guys trying to make a little bit of money in this thing, I'm going to offer my Bone Ambassador program to anybody out there who wants to do it. So that's one way that I can help you guys. So start a YouTube, start a Instagram, and then just, I do all the hard work. I take all the pictures. I share all the information. You guys can just reshare that with people who haven't seen it and then make some money. So doing that to help you guys. As far as that goes, these jobs where you have to have contact with a lot of other people are going to start to become few and far between. Machines are going to start taking over the future of our workforce. You can see, like, for example, the port of Amsterdam, stuff like that is going to be what's going to really be the future of the world, where humans are going to have a lot less contact with other humans. So I hope that these predictions don't come true, but these are my predictions for what it's going to look like right now. The other end of the spectrum is that we could find an immediate cure in the next month, and the virus will be killed altogether, and life will completely return back to normal, what it was before the virus. It sounds like a fairy tale to me, but that is the, I guess, best case scenario. I think human trials for any kind of a cure will take probably a year. So I don't think that's going to happen, but we can pray for that as well. Questions, comments below. Share this video with your friends who you think need to see it, so we can be more likely to survive, so we can be survivors, and so we can build up our community, our English-speaking community, our American community, our community of strong, intelligent men who are willing to find ways to survive and willing to help others. Thank you for watching. Bone out.